What's good? Stormy B-Man, and I'm back with another Stormy B-Man's briefs. This time the focus is on this past Saturday, September 23rd's heavyweight rematch between Zhang and Joyce. A fight that the common observer, after watching the first fight, may have thought it may not necessarily be a fight worth rematching. But yet and still, Joyce, who had a rematch clause in his contracted first fight with Zhang, elected to activate that rematch. And so the fight comes and Joe goes by the third round, half the distance that he went in the first go round. This fight was noted in particular by how both men came in heavier than they fought in the first fight. Though Zhang entered the first fight in the high 270s, Joyce came in the 250s. In the rematch, Joyce came in 280 plus, 20 pounds heavier than he competed at in the first match. Zhang came in 9 pounds heavier. What I notice about fighters of today, one of the things that they think that they can get away with is applying weight. Some of them like to say muscle, but when you see these guys in the ring, you can tell what muscle is and what it is not. Muscle can tire you out. Muscle can have a tremendous effect on stamina, which is why the old school coaches and trainers elected to keep their fighters away from weightlifting. It's not a bodybuilding contest because part of your strategy in boxing is to break the body down. So those two opposites don't go hand in hand in the sport of boxing. Nonetheless, Zhang came out in the rematch and was boxing Joyce better than the first go round. He immediately looked to take over the center of the ring, forcing Joyce backwards with movement and pressure. Joyce, who seemingly relented and didn't have much to offer, barely threw any punches in the first round, whereas Zhang, you could see, was trying to measure for distance. What was he planning to do? The answer would come very quickly toward the end of the first round and definitely peppered throughout the second round. Once Zhang got his distance down with Joyce, he was able to start opening up with combinations and jabs, punches to touch Joyce in succession, but also putting power behind those shots. Joyce was not able to counter well at all. His movement was not fluid, and he was leaning back a lot and leaning to the side a lot, where an experienced Olympian fighter like Zhang could take full and total advantage of that, especially from his southpaw position. I saw lead lefts that Zhang was able to get off and Joyce was still unable to get out of the way of. And by the second round, his eye was beginning to swell again. But lo and behold, what Zhang kept in reserve was something that Joyce would never think of, and most of the crowd saw it unexpectedly when it transpired. Zhang opened up with right hooks from the southpaw position that Joyce could never see and wasn't able to stop, and ultimately it was that right hook that took him out. The fact that Zhang was able to land that punch so cleanly showed that the lefts were all a setup. This was an interesting fight. It'll be interesting to see where Zhang goes from here. But salute to Big Bang. What a performance. And we hope that Joe will be all right. This is Stormy B-Man. Shout out to the mighty LDBC. Peace to everyone out there, and everyone please remain safe.